fact that I've been here for 27 years living in the UAE, and for me it's been such a pleasant and wonderful experience. So I'm now on a mission to discover other people's experiences on how they have made the UAE their home. Today's episode will be an action-packed one, a bit different from our usual, and that's because I'm coming to meet Amin Touati, a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, the head instructor and owner of the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu Club. Let's go and meet Amin, who's been here for 15 years. So Amin, tell us about yourself. Who is Amin?
Amin, yeah, my name is Amin Touati. I was born and raised in Sweden, Stockholm. My parents are from Algeria, immigrants from Algeria. And yeah, I had a typical childhood, Swedish childhood, snow. And I've been doing martial art as well almost for 20 years now.
Okay, so you started back in, I guess, your teenage years in Sweden doing martial arts.
Yeah. I've done boxing, taekwondo, karate, almost any martial art you can imagine. But I was never good at any one of them.
As we can see on your t-shirt here, you finally stuck with Jiu-Jitsu,
Yeah.
which I'm sure we'll hear about later on. Now, so you mentioned you had a typical, teenage, childhood or life in Sweden.
Yeah.
But then at some stage, you came to the UAE.
Yeah.
So what made you come to the UAE, and what were your expectations about the UAE, or what would happen, or what would it be like when you arrive in the UAE?
Yeah, I didn't have any too big expectations. I was Googling a little bit before I came here, but I used to travel a lot with my parents to Algeria, and that was the only picture I had of the Middle East and North Africa. You see a lot of pictures on the news as well. So when I finally came here, it was actually a shock, because it was the living standards were very high. It was very friendly. So I liked it. It was a big surprise, to be honest.
So basically, you'd got a certain, I don't know, stereotype or certain idea of the Middle East in your mind. From maybe the TV or the movies. But when you actually moved to the Middle East, which we find with so many people, you found that it was completely a very different reality.
Yeah, I mean, for me in Sweden, the picture we have and the picture that many times they show you is, they show a lot of poor people, the living standards are very low, and, seeing my own family in Algeria, this is the kind of picture that I had. So when I came here, it was very similar to Sweden. Of course, the culture was different, but the living standards and it was beautiful, and it was actually better because it was the same living standards, but you had the beach, you had the weather.
I was about to say that, yeah.
Yeah. So it was almost like mixing.
Upgrade.
You were taking the best of what I've seen in Algeria, the weather, and the living standard of Sweden, and you just became like a cocktail.
It's a nice blend, basically.
Yeah.
So when did you first come here?
The first time was 2004. Okay, I was actually a chef many years ago. Okay, but during that time I met a guy which became a very close friend of mine today, and he showed me some. I went to his house, and he started to teach me some martial arts, which were Jiu-Jitsu, and it was only like for a week, and all the martial arts that I've done during my whole life was always difficult to learn. But during that week, I really felt like, okay, this is very easy. This is something that I like. The job that I had didn't work out. So I went back to Sweden in 2004, but I started to train Jiu-Jitsu full time. And I started to learn really quick, and it became a passion. Yeah.
So is it fair to say that the reason you chose the UAE, mostly, because that was going to be one of my questions, but I think you pretty much explained that, it was that blend of the best of the East and the best of the West
Yes,
together.
yeah,
So that was the main reason you chose
definitely.
the UAE.
Until this day, you get the best of both worlds.
So I guess then I could ask you, I suppose, what were your first impressions? So we know that you chose the UAE, and you've done some research, but what was the actual first impressions when you arrived? Because one thing's searching for it, and then the actual impression when you arrived. And what stood out, for example, what really stood out in your mind about the UAE?
I would say at that time, I think it was the living standards of this country. You know, it was very well developed. The courtesy of the people were very well behaved. Europe, for those that grow up in Europe, they can be some areas can be very rough. They have a lot of crime, and so it took some time to, people told me, like, you don't have to be afraid. There's no crime. There's no. I think maybe that was the first shock that I had. It was really safe,
Yeah, that is, I mean, as we know, if you check in the ranking of the world's safest countries, you find it's the UAE, and I believe recently I read that the world's safest city was Abu Dhabi. So definitely, we see that here, that there's a lot of stability, there's a lot of security, and a lot of everyone can live here in safety, which, as you mentioned, is not the case in many places, even the most developed of places. Now, what are the places here that you really like about the UAE? What places really?
The desert.
The desert.
The desert. Like, I feel I can I say I feel like I'm myself in the desert? I can be myself. It's quiet. It's it's very relaxed in the desert. Because many times, if you're in the city, whether you're in UAE, Sweden, most big cities are very similar. It can be a lot of stress. It can be a lot of running around. But when you if you have a car, you take it out to the desert, make some tea, and just relax. It's
The good thing about the UAE as well is, as you mentioned, there's a lot of desert. But what a lot of people don't realize is we also have, if you go to Al Ain, for example, it's very green. There's a lot of greenery, and other places. You go to the East Coast, it's very mountainous. And the kind of mountains you don't find it anywhere else apart from this region. So it does have a lot to offer, a lot of difference. Now, what were the cultural challenges? So we know that you grew up in Sweden, and you came here. Now, you've obviously mentioned I wouldn't say we're looking for anything negative, but there will be some challenges, obviously, because no matter what your background may be, when you're used to a certain country, you move somewhere else, there's some challenges. What did you face culturally wise?
I would say small things, because like I said, my parents are originally from Algeria, so we used to go every summer. So it's a little bit similar to you in some aspects, but I would say the biggest thing that I saw, Sweden is very famous for being very, small things, standing in queue is a huge thing in Sweden. It's almost like they treat it religiously in Sweden, standing in line. And so small things like this were a little bit different when I came here. But no, other than that, it was like very minor things, very minor things.
So, apart from work, when you came here and you started to work, what was one of the other things that made you stay here in the UAE?
Well, I came here as a bachelor, and the plan was actually not to stay here. Like many other people, they come here to work and to go back home. But the same thing that happened to my parents, they went from Algeria to Sweden just to work for a couple of years, save money, and go back home. But they got stuck. They got kids, and the kids started school, got friends. And, my parents been there for over 50 years. And the same thing happened to me. I came here to work, to save some money, and maybe go back. Alhamdulillah, I got married here. My kids, they grown up in UAE. And I don't really see myself going back now. This is home now. I don't feel like I'm going home when I'm going back to Sweden. This is my home now.
Yeah, that's actually exactly how I feel.
Yeah.
A question I guess I could ask you then is, having children here, How's that been an experience? Because people may wonder, what is it like bringing up children in UAE or the Middle East, education, socially, just generally, how's that been for you?
Yeah, great experience. I would say I have a very good experience with raising kids in UAE, especially when I go back to Sweden and see, you compare with your friends, you see the schools that they have, you see what kids do after school. Alhamdulillah, I think raising kids in this country is probably one of the biggest blessings that I have. It's safe. The kids have very good manners. In general, I'm saying in the country, the school system is very good. They have good private schools. Even the government schools are very, very good. So, yeah.
Okay. What is your general experience being here in the UAE and mixing with the people of the UAE? What's your experience been living with the UAE nationals, for example?
It's been a great experience since day one. They've always been very welcoming. I have many Emirati friends until this day, and they have become very close friends of mine. And in the beginning, coming back to this culture thing, it's not really, it was just different. I've been invited to a lot of weddings. A little bit different from the weddings that I'm used to, But again, beautiful people. I've seen how they treat the elders. It's something very important for me. This is probably one of the biggest things that I've seen, how they take care of their parents. So I cannot say I had any bad experience.
I mean,
meeting.
You must have also, I imagine, many times sometimes random people you might have just met somewhere, they invite you to their house for dinner or something. This is something whole being a good host and being wanting to have a guest and insisting, please come and eat with me. This is something that we may not experience in the West. I mean, in the West we tend to go out, and if me and you are going out for a meal, we'll all pay separately for our meal. Where here, people will fight to pay for your meal for you.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. When I came here, I was what's the word? Like very skeptic. Because people were so nice. So I'm like,
this doesn't happen.
It must be like he wants something. So I had my guard was up, and I got invited to dinners, to weddings. And it took some time to realize, like, this person, he doesn't want anything, he just wants to be nice. And the thing is, when you go back to the West, when you go back to Sweden, it's almost like you become naive because you don't think bad about anyone. We're so used to this friendly lifestyle in UAE. You trust everyone, you feel everyone is your friend. So now going back to Sweden is almost like the opposite, You feel very naive when you go back,
Yeah. So it's like here everything's very warm and welcoming, and to some extent, of course, we're not blanketing the whole of Sweden, but as a general thing, people don't tend to see somebody and say, "Oh, you look like you're out of town. Please come to my house for dinner." It just doesn't happen.
They do. I mean, they invite you, but it's only after they know you. Here, I've been invited from by people that I've never seen before. I've been walking on the street, and they might have a wedding, and they'd be like, "Yeah, please come inside." That would
unheard of.
That would never happen. Never.
True.
So, alhamdulillah, this is one of the beautiful things that I've experienced in UAE.
Great.
It's a blessing. I really hope people understand the life they have in UAE. It's a blessing, alhamdulillah.
So here we are, now you're in your gi or your kimono, as it's also known, your Jiu-Jitsu uniform. So I guess before I asked you about how you've seen Jiu-Jitsu develop, let's first give the viewers who don't know, what is Jiu-Jitsu, or what is Gracie Jiu-Jitsu or Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? We heard of Japanese Jiu-Jitsu, but what's this all about?
Gracie Jiu-Jitsu comes from Japanese Jiu-Jitsu. There was a guy going from Japan to Brazil, and he started teaching the grandfather of my master, who is Gracie. And he in turn taught his sons, and he taught his sons. And Gracie Jiu-Jitsu basically is for a smaller person to defeat a bigger person. So it relies a lot on leverage, and then you don't need speed. You don't have to be strong to use Gracie Jiu-Jitsu.
Okay, so as you could say, it's like a modified version of Japanese Jiu-Jitsu to some extent?
Yeah, Japanese Jiu-Jitsu is comes from, it was more for samurais to practice when they lost their sword, they lost their weapon. It is more war-based. I would say Gracie Jiu-Jitsu is more street
practical.
more practical, right?
So
more street self-defense.
a lot of those moves also, they kind of involve grappling, and this is what people think. They think, how can I be a small guy and a big guy attacks me? But I mean, I've seen it and people have seen it, that with Jiu-Jitsu, if you have the right technique, and that person hopefully is not also skilled in Jiu-Jitsu, then generally speaking, you have an advantage over him.
Yeah. No, I mean, sometimes it can be hard to explain this because people always have that in the back of their minds. It's the bigger guy will always beat the smaller guy, but it's only by practicing and understanding leverage and using the techniques that you will understand that Gracie Jiu-Jitsu is really for everyone, and I really mean that. It's for everyone, for older people, for women, for kids. Anyone can use it.
Okay, great. Now that brings me on to my next question. So we've had an idea of Jiu-Jitsu. Now we know that Jiu-Jitsu is really big here in the UAE.
Yeah.
And before we talk about what it's become, you came around 16, 17 years ago now. So how have you seen Jiu-Jitsu transform, and how has the UAE played a part in not just transforming Jiu-Jitsu here, but around the whole world?
When I came to UAE, no one knew what Jiu-Jitsu was. We had a very small community, I would say probably like 30 people, 40 people, all over UAE. It was only 3 black belts in the whole country. So, we all knew each other, we all practiced with each other. So what I've seen from that time until now, it's been amazing. Huge. I mean, I cannot explain the difference I've seen. And now I think you can go to in the mountains in Ras Al Khaimah and ask a guy Jiu-Jitsu, and he will tell you what Jiu-Jitsu is. And that was like unheard of 15, 16 years ago.
Because what I've also noticed, obviously living here, is the fact that Jiu-Jitsu now has been really promoted by the government. You find the government school children are doing it, the police, the military, and even if you go around the world now, all the big Jiu-Jitsu competitions, most of them you see the UAE, JJF. So most of the big, it's even in a way, they've kind of superseded the international Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Federation. They've become so just like the UAE, in so many things, they become the pioneers or the leaders in the world, the record breakers, the record achievers. They've now even done that in the field of Jiu-Jitsu, haven't they?
Yeah. I would say for many years, it was almost like an underground thing. I had to explain when people asked me, I said, do you know what judo is? Wrestling? They said, yeah. I said, yeah, similar. They didn't know what Jiu-Jitsu was. When Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed, his son was training, and he really saw the development of his son. He really loved what Jiu-Jitsu was doing for his son, and he wanted the same for all his people, all the kids in UAE. And almost like overnight, the second he said, what, this is what I want for my people. And he really, made sure the government invested in Jiu-Jitsu. And it just turned from 0 to 100 in a very short time, until we have what we have today, mashallah. You have UAE Jiu-Jitsu Federation all over the world. I don't think there's a person in the world that trains Jiu-Jitsu doesn't know about Abu Dhabi or UAE in general.
And we're seeing a lot of the UAE nationals as well. We've seen them rise up and being champions, going to Brazil, going internationally, winning gold medals. We know. You mentioned Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed. We have Sheikh Tahnoon. His brother is a black belt and regularly trains in Jiu-Jitsu. We have Sheikh Tariq Al-Qasimi in Sharjah, who's also a champion, who himself beats the Brazilians at their own game, I guess you could say. So it's really, really developed.
Yeah. No, alhamdulillah, I've seen so many changes. And now it's it's part of the army program, it's part of the school program. And you have so many private clubs that teach Jiu-Jitsu now. So it's almost like a part of UAE now. I think even more than football. I think, I'm not sure, but it's very equal now.
And it's also, if you think about it, it's a really clever and wise decision to do that, because you're making sure that every child, in a lot of the government schools, every child, boy or girl, knows how is physically active and they know how to defend themselves. Not everyone's going to be a champion, and I don't think we can compare this to hardly anywhere. Maybe back, you mentioned samurais, maybe back in the days of the samurai, everybody had to be trained in martial arts, but I don't think any other country as a national program pushes so much of its population to train. And we know that so many of the clubs train completely free of charge.
Yeah. No, it's a beautiful thing. Me personally, I'm very biased, obviously. I'm not a big fan of football. So I always have these conversations with my friends. But I think if you compare football with Jiu-Jitsu, I mean, for the kids in general, if you see the benefits, the life skills that they will have for the rest of their lives, you cannot compare football with Jiu-Jitsu.
Definitely.
Yeah, but of course, I'm not telling kids not to play football, but I'm saying if there's one of those things that really will help you develop as a person in life, then Jiu-Jitsu is clearly the winner.
Amin, what does Jiu-Jitsu mean for you? It's now your profession, but what does it mean for you?
Yeah, that's a big question. For me, Jiu-Jitsu is a way of life. It's not really, just training and go home. It develops, you become stronger mentally, physically, and especially for me as a teacher, teaching kids, and I can see how they develop. So many times we've seen kids that they have very low self-confidence. Parents might complain for whatever reason, and for me as a teacher to teach this child and see them develop and become more confident, it's priceless. So for me, again, I might be biased, but Jiu-Jitsu is just more than coming for 1 hour and going home. I truly believe that it can change you, and only for the better.
Jiu-Jitsu, you've seen it grow. It's been an important part of your life.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. It's been, I've seen a lot of changes. I've seen a lot of changes in the country. I've seen a lot of changes within me, with my family, and all this the Jiu-Jitsu have affected a lot of parts of my life.
Yeah, I think I've seen it. We've seen so many people training in Jiu-Jitsu, and like you mentioned, so many children who may have special needs, lack of confidence, not the most physique, don't have the best, you could say, health and fitness, and how they've improved and how they get better, and how in other sports they will be pushed away. Like you couldn't, if you're generally overweight, you can't go and play. You wouldn't be accepted in a football team, for example, necessarily. But with Jiu-Jitsu, you can be accepted, and they can start to see themselves improving and getting healthier and stronger and fitter, and it's a lot more boosting for the confidence than other sports. From day one, they will just kind of turn them away. Yeah,
I think that's, again, with Jiu-Jitsu, you can come, like you can be overweight, you can be very small, but by practicing, the self-confidence is gonna come. But if you would start rugby, for example, if you would be that overweight guy, you would struggle from day one.
Or the really small guy,
or you'd be that very small guy, It's not, I don't think, from my experience, many sports, they don't really have that smooth introduction, Like it's okay to start here, but we're slowly gonna get you there. Many sports are like, you should be, you should have like a general kind of
natural,
natural body type,
a good football player, or naturally a good.
But in general, I mean, I'm always going to be biased, Whatever sport you put in front of me, I'm always going to put Jiu-Jitsu first. Yeah.
The funny thing is, I feel like it's been ages since I trained in Jiu-Jitsu, what with COVID, and then before that work schedule, so it's like a completely out.
It can be hard. Most of the guys that come here, we have pilots, engineers, doctors. I can't really expect the guys to go 5 days a week, even 3 days a week. If they can get like 2 days a week, is more than enough, So I think the most important thing, just try to keep like a schedule where you can, if you have 1 or 2 days fixed, you try to keep that. Like whatever happens, you don't lose those days. I think that's the best way. Okay, so I'm gonna be like this. Yeah, I'm gonna hold like this. There you go, and go. Yeah, that was the thing I talked about, right? Yeah, all right. Let me see. Oh, there we go. Oop.